everyone? Hope you guys had a great weekend. Um, I had a pretty decent weekend myself. Um, hope you guys are. Hope you guys are ready for the busy week ahead. Hope you guys are at home relaxing, trying to get ready for that busy work week. 'Cause I know Mondays are always busy, especially if you got to have kids. That morning rush hour traffic getting to work. The good thing is I don't have to deal with that. but um, but yeah, get out there and get that bag. But today I want to talk about a couple of things. Something that's on the radar pretty that's pretty well. Right now it's just speculation, but if this is true, it's pretty big. So according to reports, it looks like that Skydance, Paramount, they want to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. And if this is true, then that means that DC will be going under another reboot, meaning that James Gunn would be fired. If this is true. But as of right now, it is confirmed that Skydance wants to buy DC, and they're already like have like this team that would be in charge of DC if they were to buy them. They like because usually when things like this happen, they want to do like a reboot, like a reset, like start off fresh. And I'm just gonna be honest, me personally, I wouldn't really care if they do a reboot because like there is no anticipation, no excitement in this universe right now. Like this, what one thing that James Gunn has done with this DC, it's very divisive. It's really divided down the middle. Like it's really mixed right now. That's like literally what I could say right now. Like, even though like you could say the same thing with Zack Snyder's DC, which I would agree, it was pretty mixed. A lot of people, I still feel like it was a bit more it was less of these like these like these political angles that they're trying to put in there. Like if you watch the James Gunn stuff, especially with the recent stuff with Peacemaker, like he's trying to like put in a lot of political things in there. And again, like I've been saying this for a long time. I don't know why Hollywood is trying so hard to make everything so political. So let's get into this video because they explain it a bit depth more. Because if this is true, well, it is true that they are trying to buy Warner Bros. In DC. But if the deal does go through, unfortunately, we would have to go through another reboot. But I'm just honestly, man, like there's no excitement for this universe right now. So let's take a look.
What on earth is going on at DC? So I'm going to show you kind of three articles here. Very interesting ones, actually. Now, take it all with a massive pinch of salt. We don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've not heard anything about this. But there's been rumours that Skydance's Ellison, not even really rumours, to be fair, but David Ellison of Skydance, now Paramount Skydance, wants to buy Warner Brothers, right? He wants to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. And it's not from Cosmic Book News, that's from Deadline themselves. So it's not small fry people that are saying this information. And so what would happen there? Well, apparently David Zaslav would be out, right? He'd be gone. That's the rumours. Anyway, just left out, just done. Latest update, David Ellison is preparing to make his move on Warner Brothers, and with the recent contract renewals of Warner Brothers Motion Picture Group heads, which actually has done, by the way, that's locked and into place, right? Which apparently was as per David Ellison's personal request. So in short, Ellison is finalising the team he wants and doesn't...
So it's confirmed that if they were to buy, he would want his own team. So it's confirmed. So, yeah, that would mean that James Gunn and I forgot the other guy's name, who's the head of DC. Forgot the other guy's name. Damn, can't think of it right now. But if it's confirmed that they do want to buy DC, if it's confirmed, then that means he would be out. So yeah, and meaning that we would have to go through another reboot. or will they continue with the characters they have now? Meaning, would they continue with David Cornsweet and etc. That I am not sure about. Um, because I mean, when you take a look at the projects that James Gunn has done so far, I mean, look at like the universe started off with what? Creature Commandos, that animated series that nobody watched. Like literally nobody watched that Creature Commando show. And then and then Superman was the official launch, which had mixed reviews. It did not make its money back, and and Man of Steel made more money than it. It was confirmed that Man of Steel made more money than it. Even when you don't include the inflation, when you look at ticket prices, Man of Steel still made more money than it by a couple of $1 million. Um, and then there's Peacemaker, which again I don't know why the fuck how the hell you go from Superman to Peacemaker. I don't know how the hell you go that route. But even with Peacemaker, like nobody's talking about that show. He tried to say recently, James Gunn said that he said that Peacemaker is quote unquote a sequel to Superman, when literally Peacemaker is a hard R. Like literally, there's a freaking orgy scene in one of the episodes where John Cena is like guy on girl action at the same time. I'm just like how do we go from Superman to this? Like, explain this to me. This is a hard R show. Like the show is literally like a parody. That's like literally the best way I can describe it. Like when you watch the show, it's like you're watching a parody. And apparently Lex Luthor has some scenes in there, which is kind of weird, but okay. But yeah, there's really no momentum in this DC universe. There is no momentum. There is no fans excited for this. Like there is no momentum for this whatsoever.
Like, he's going to get Zaslav in there. Effectively. So Zaslav's exit seems likely. Sources tell Deadline that Ellison and his father, Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison, aren't interested in keeping Zaslav on board. There's reportedly no significant role for Zaslav in the post-sale version of the studio, though he could be offered a soft landing in the form of a board seat or vague strategic advisor title, just to soften the deal, basically. So insiders, for Deadline, say it's unlikely Zaslav would want to stick around anyway. The Ellisons want a clean slate with no baggage, and that includes the $30 billion.
So Dave Zaslav, he's the current head of Warner Bros. Discovery. So they want a clean slate. So meaning that they most likely will get rid of James Gunn. And most likely, usually like when these things get like when these studios get bought out and stuff like that, they usually kind of want to start with a clean slate, look at the properties, see what's making money and see what's not making money. And obviously, if something's making money, they're gonna keep it around. If it's not making money, they're gonna get rid of it. So with DC, it doesn't. Again, like DC, I don't even think it's like making that much of a profit. I'm just being honest, like, because again, Superman did not make its money back. I highly doubt anyone. No one's talking about Peacemaker. Like nobody's watching that show. Like seriously, I swear to God, there is a little orgy scene in Peacemaker like it's John Cena with guys and girls. Like, how is this even DC? And then you got the one of the episodes of Peacemaker. I think they made like some sort of like Nazi world, from what it looked like. Like James Gunn made like some sort of Nazi world in Peacemaker, and they try to compare it to like how it's like the real life here, and it's just like, again, like, why are you putting all this political shit in your shows? Like, again, this is how you divide your fan base, and you're pushing them away because you're being too political. At the end of the day, people just want to be entertained. Stop pushing political messages into everything we watch. Nobody wants to see that shit.
Debt.
And that's the one thing I'll give Zack Snyder. Like, even though like some of his stuff are mixed, there was nothing political about it. Meaning anyone can go in and watch it without even having those thoughts come up in their mind.
The Warner Brothers Discovery is carrying. They're mad. I mean, that's a lot. DeLuca and Abdi, apparently they're just assets. So Ellison's strategy appears to revolve around acquiring not just Warner Brothers IP, but also top talent. So DeLuca and Abdi re-upped after overseeing $4 billion global box office run this year. They're seen as major assets. Deadline likens them to discovering a war hole in the house you're about to buy. A bonus that Ellison's likely view is as critical to their long-term studio plans. So that's what they think is good, right? Netflix doesn't look like they're on board for trying to buy it.
So Netflix was, from what I heard, Netflix was in the running to buy. Well, actually, it was rumored that they wanted to buy it, but it looks like they don't want to. So it looks like Skydance Paramount wants to buy it. And from what I understand, I know DC's like really in the hole, like they're in debt. But I think, from what I understand, Paramount's like in the hole too. So I guess what they're trying to do is, I guess in order to clear that debt, they're trying to. I feel like the main reason why they want to buy DC, I mean, they want to buy Warner Brothers mainly because of DC Comics, especially from what he describes later on, because they are trying to bring back, the Truth, Justice, American Way, the quota for Superman, um, and that's what Superman stands for. I don't know, for some reason they took that away, like in the 2010s. I believe they changed it to like Truth, Justice, and a Better Tomorrow. Like, I don't know why they did that, but it looks like they're trying to bring that back, meaning that they're trying to bring back, for it sounds like from how it was in the comics, like before, like all this, before like the New 52 era, from what it sounds like, and I feel like that's what a lot of fans are looking for.
Apparently James Gunn will be out if Warner Brothers gets sold. Man, this stuff is fascinating. Like, actually fascinating. Now, again, take it all with a pinch of salt. Take it all with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, so this is a grain of salt, but Paramount is trying to buy. Skydance Paramount is trying to buy Warner Bros. But we don't know if they'll keep or get rid of James Gunn. But me looking at it financially and just looking at the interest of his DC universe, I'm just being honest. There's no momentum. There's no like fan enthusiasm. It's more so like I feel like there's more discourse. I mean, I feel like the discourse too is mainly because like the Snyder fans, which I kind of understand. But at the same time, it's just like I just don't understand like how like this. I said this from the beginning. Like James Gunn being in charge should have never happened. Like say what you want about his films. Like I don't really care about his films. Like I never was a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought it was just like whatever to me. But one thing you have to notice about James Gunn is that he has a track record. He likes working with obscure characters and trying to like do his thing with them. It's been confirmed. Like we've seen this happen time and time again. Like when he first worked on Peacemaker, like he literally told John Cena don't read the comics. Like he's trying to do his own thing. That's why he did the Suicide Squad. He did his own thing with those characters. That's why he added the Justice Gang in that Superman movie, because he said himself he didn't really understand Superman, and I don't think and personally I don't even think he still does, because he obviously needed to add those Justice Gang characters in there, because again he loves the Guardians of the Galaxy, those type of characters. So again, I personally don't know if Skydance will keep him on. Me, I probably would start fresh. I'm just gonna be honest. Um, the only thing is now is that they unfortunately didn't get Superman right. Warner Brothers with James Gunn. So if they were to take DC again, I don't know who they. I'm guessing. I don't know if they'll reboot this universe again. Superman. I personally would reboot it with Batman first. But at the same time, another thing too is like if they were to purchase Skydance, if Skydance were to purchase Warner Brothers, what would happen to everything that's like in production? Like for example, the Matt Reeves, the Batman. What would happen with that? Would they just give him that one last movie and that's it, or will they continue the trilogy? The Harry Potter series that they're developing, is that going to still be greenlit, or are they going to get rid of that? So it's things like that. So Like I said, it all depends like on where this goes and what happens.
So Superman didn't do very well financially. We've got the numbers now. Loads of reports.
Yeah, Superman got beat out by a fucking anime movie, Demon Slayer. Mind you, you have to watch 4 seasons and a previous movie from that anime in order to catch up on this movie, mind you. And mind you, this is one of 3 movies that they're making. This is one of 3. Keep that in mind. I don't know what the numbers are right now, but Demon Slayer did beat out Superman. Um, but that literally should be telling. Like literally should be telling. I know Skydance is looking at that and they're just I don't know if we want to keep this guy on anymore. Like it would be something if Superman made its money back, but the thing is it didn't make its money back. And this is Superman. This is one of the biggest IPs for Western comics. One of the biggest IPs. Arguably arguably top 5. Arguably top 5. And they didn't even crack at least 800 million. This is something because I feel like that's what they were looking for. They wanted this to crack at least 7 to 800. Because I think the Batman made like 700 million. This only this barely cracked 6. This only barely cracked 6. And and I know that Warner Bros. They wanted this to be like $1 billion. They wanted this to be $1 billion movie. They wanted this to be, but it couldn't make those heights.
Peacemaker season 2 has flopped. The ratings are down.
Nobody's watching Peacemaker, man. I'll say that there are more people watching Peacemaker than Creature Commandos, but seriously, how do you go from Superman to Peacemaker?
This individual on Cosmic Book News spoke to their insiders and said that basically James Gunn will be out as the head of DC with the Warner Brothers Discovery sale.
Take this with a grain of salt. We don't know if this is true or not. All we do know is that Skydance Paramount wants to buy WB. We do know that, but we don't know if they'll get rid of James Gunn. And honestly, I feel like it all depends on his next slate of movies. If the next slate of movies do not make profit, and when I mean profit, they have to. I'm talking about like at least like close to $1 billion. Like for example, like what like what that recent Jurassic World movie did. I think that recent Jurassic World movie made close to like I think it made like 900, like 900 from what I remember. These next movies they have to at least crack that in terms of that amount of money. And if they don't make that type of money, and if they don't make their money back, then yeah, he's gonna be out. Um, and I'm just gonna be honest, like his next movie is Supergirl. Like that's the next movie. So like seriously, like, and we literally saw what the Supergirl is gonna be like. Like they literally had like a drunk Supergirl. Like yeah, that yeah, people are excited for that.
David Ellison of Skydance Paramount buys Warner Brothers Discovery. Mike DeLuca will basically be in charge of DC. And it will be another new start.
So it would be so it would be a new start. So if they buy DC, it will be another reboot. So again, I'm just gonna be honest. I know I really don't want to say this, but I don't think they should do another reboot. I feel like they should do a soft, like when I mean like a soft reboot, I mean keep the characters they have so far. Unfortunately, obviously, like keep your Superman. Even though I would want to return to Henry Cavill, but I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think Henry Cavill wants to return at this point, especially after what DC did to him. Like they brought him back for Black Adam, and then James Gunn came in and got rid of him. So I honestly don't think he'll come back. unless they pay him a buttload of money, like what they did to Robert Downey. So I don't see him coming back. Um, so keep David Cornshaw as it is. I would just change some stuff around and change the fucking costume because that fucking costume is fucking stupid. So I would just change the costumes around and obviously change the tone of the world. Change the like, get rid of this light-hearted Marvel humor and just go back to like I don't want not I'm not asking for like something to like as gritty as like like as like what Man of Steel and BVS was. I'm not saying like make it like gritty and dark like that, which I personally didn't see anything wrong with, but keep the core elements of the characters who they are. Meaning, don't make Batman a killer. Don't have Superman kill Zod. Things like that. But just do like a soft reboot in the universe. Change the slate around. Obviously, focus more on the core characters of DC, meaning like focus on the Justice League. So, because from what I heard from this, I heard that James Gunn's moving away from the slate that he stated a couple of years ago how this slate was, and he's moving towards more like a Superman family focused films. That's why he's doing Supergirl next. But again, um, I'm really curious to see what their slate would be and how they would structure this DC. Um, no, all I'm saying is they just need someone. They just need people who know the comics and understand the characters. Because unfortunately, James Gunn does not understand the characters. And as much as people love Zack Snyder unfortunately did not understand Superman and Batman, especially Batman, because he made Batman a freaking killer. That's like literally Batman's number one rule. So, um, just get people who understand the character and who know what they're doing, and a slate that makes sense, that gets the fans and customers enthusiastic and gives momentum to your universe.
God damn it. Another new start? So we'll get a reboot, probably. God, man alive. So Gunn recently said that he's doing whatever he wants with DC. That sounded odd. As if you're building a new universe, you would want it to be successful with the fans. That's not happening. Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, they...
Like, how the fuck do you start a universe with like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, when you're trying to rebuild a brand, like, shouldn't you focus on pushing out the most core elements of that brand, meaning the core characters that people know and love and want to see? Like, bro, who the fuck was asking for Creature Commandos? Who the fuck was asking for that? Like, I'm being genuinely honest. Who the hell was asking for Creature Commandos and Peacemaker? Who the hell was asking for these characters? Like, I can name a plethora of characters that people would want to see over Creature Commandos and Peacemaker. We have yet to see Nightwing. We have yet to see like Dick Grayson Robin. Like the last time we seen Dick Grayson Robin was back during the George Clooney movie. We have yet to see the Batman and Robin on screen ever since then. We have yet to see Red Hood. We have yet to see Clayface, which is a villain that I've been asking for a long time in a Batman movie. We have yet to see. They technically did do Deathstroke, but we didn't like see Deathstroke fight and stuff. It was just something that I really wanted to see. Like they said, because the original plans for the Batman was it was going to be like Batman and Arkham and him fighting Deathstroke, which I think everyone would want to see because that's till this day that cinematic trailer for Arkham Origins with Batman and Deathstroke fighting in the snow was fucking amazing, bro. To this day, one of the best things I've ever seen from DC. Batman and Deathstroke fighting, man. That shit was fucking amazing, man. But again, this is what I'm talking about when you're doing characters that nobody wants and nobody cares about. And what gets you upset is that you have these fucking shields saying, like, always trying to like trying to gaslight people and trying to like fucking troll people online, saying like you're just a crybaby fan. Like, no, we're not crybabies. We're not trolls. We're fans. We're people who love this universe. That's why we're complaining like why they're showing these characters because these are characters that nobody asked for. Even normies don't even like this shit. Like you'll see those reaction videos on YouTube of them pretending to like it, but honestly, they're just doing it for views. They don't give a shit about these characters. And I heard that Creature Commandos did like a cameo of Batman. Well, they even show him. They just showed like a silhouette.
They failed to chart Nielsen, the Nielsen charts. They don't have a big audience, and Gunn's claim that Peacemaker Season 2 was meant to be a sequel to Superman movie was apparently BS.
Yeah, BS. Like please.
Superman also failed to resonate with international fans. That is true. Its box office also came in under Zack Snyder's Man of Steel by a large margin. Gunn's approach to the DCU has been all about divisive messaging, and it's splitting the fan base, which is true. It has been pretty divisive.
Yeah, like I said, it divided the fan base, and I agree.
This individual says that they're of the opinion that Gunn is doing whatever he wants with DC because his days are numbered and he knows it. So he's getting himself, all of his friends, and his wife big paychecks before Warner Brothers.
See, and this is something I actually don't doubt because he has his brother in there, he has his wife in there. Yeah, I actually don't doubt this. Meaning, I would not be surprised if, because who does James Gunn's brother play again? He plays Maxwell Lord, so he's probably going to be in that Supergirl movie, and they're probably gonna have a cameo of his wife in there too.
Discovery sells, which I mean it's a really pessimistic outlook, but it could be the case. So that means when a sale does go through, James Gunn is out. And here's what he's told. Basically, recently, big news that DeLuca and Abdi, resigned with Warner Brothers in Deadline's report. They basically said it's because of the sale of Warner Brothers Discovery. David Ellison is looking to purchase Warner Brothers Discovery. So Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav is putting people in place that Ellison wants. Resigned. Sorry, not resigned. So that means Ellison wants DeLuca and Abdi in charge of Warner Brothers films. Gunn has pivoted from his planned Gods and Monsters storyline into what he calls the Superman family saga.
Yeah, so I was right. So he did, yeah. Because before he did like an opening slate where he announced movies of what he wanted to do. I might play that video after this. But originally his slate, it had like Superman. It had like an Amanda Waller show. It had Swamp Thing. The Authority. What else did he announce? The Green Lantern show, which I'm pretty sure that's still a thing. The Lantern show. Paradise Lost. Basically like a Wonder Woman show, but I don't think it's gonna feature Wonder Woman. I think it's gonna feature the Amazons on Themyscira. And what else did he said? I think I'm probably missing something, but those are like the projects he announced, and they said that. Oh yeah, and Brave and the Bold, where he's gonna do Batman and Damian. That's how he's gonna start off his universe with Batman and Damian, not Dick Grayson. So yeah, that's the universe he wanted to do. That's how he's gonna start the universe, and he titled it Gods and Monsters. So no Flash, apparently, no Flash. No Aquaman, the only core character. I actually ain't no Wonder Woman because the Paradise Lost wasn't going to feature Wonder Woman. Except for what I heard, it's going to be like a prequel. So, yeah. So again, really don't understand why they made this guy in charge. From what I heard they made him in charge to make DC look a little bit better. That way, like when the sale comes, like it looked good and they can like sell it at a reasonable price. From what I understand.
The Superman family is all Gunn. That's him. It's all his stories, basically. Gods and Monsters storyline is ditched because Gunn knows he can only get a select amount of movies out before the sale. And apparently, he's also been told, this individual has also been told that the reason why DCU projects have been stalling is because of Gunn's interference. The filmmaker wants his own vision and not Gunn's. Filmmakers want their own version, and not Gunn.
So, and that's the problem. So basically, James Gunn is doing the same thing what the Warner Bros. Execs did to Zack Snyder. He's basically doing the same thing, but it's worse because it's fucking James Gunn. Because Warner Bros. Is like their issue is like when they interfered with these projects, they were trying to like speed up things and add things that didn't make sense. Like for example, like it was because of them things got sped up from Man of Steel to Justice League in only fucking what like 3-4 movies. It was their fault that because originally the sequel they wanted to do a true sequel to Man of Steel with Brainiac, but for some reason the studio wanted to pivot to Batman. They wanted to introduce Batman right away, um, which was a good idea and a bad idea at the same time. Because in my opinion, if you want to introduce Batman, they should have done a standalone Batman film to introduce the character, and also you can and then do your Man of Steel sequel. So it should have been a Batman standalone film and a Man of Steel sequel. That's what they should have done. That's exactly what they should have done. But unfortunately, they didn't go down that route. Um, so James Gunn basically is apparently doing the same thing. And from what I heard, he did this before DC started because he did this with the final slate of movies that DC had. He did it with the second Shazam movie. He did it with the Flash movie. He did it with the second Aquaman movie, and I think he did it with Blue Beetle. He did it with those slate of movies that were coming out. That was part of the old regime. He came in, he put in his own input in there, and look how they turned out. And I arguably feel like they came out like that because he purposely did that so that people could be more excited for his DC universe. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like he did that. He made them bad purposely so fans could be more excited for his stuff.
Um, but they're told that most visionary directors in Hollywood are staying away from not only DC but Marvel and Star Wars because life is too short and everyone is looking for original properties. Zack Snyder's happy doing his original stuff, but would like to return for DC for one last movie, Dark Knight Returns.
I mean, he basically did the Dark Knight Returns and Batman vs Superman. He basically did the same thing. Because that Ben Affleck's Batman was based off the Dark Knight Returns, like literally. Like I can go through so many comparisons to Ben Affleck's Batman to the Dark Knight Returns in terms of how he did that. So I don't know why. So I mean, I don't know why he would. I don't know why he said he would want to do that. I guess he would I guess he'll want to do like a full adaptation, which technically we already got a film adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns. We got the animated 2 movies, which are fucking phenomenal. I rewatched them the other day. The Dark Knight Returns animated movies were, in my opinion, were pretty perfect. So I kind of don't really see the point of them adapting into live action. Like, what would they? Though, if they do it, they're probably gonna change like a couple of stuff. Probably go a bit more in depth in the comics, but I personally wouldn't. I personally wouldn't even care for it because, like I said, we already got those adaptations.
So if Warner Brothers does get sold, whoever buys it wants a completely new start. While it has been reported that Skydance is eyeing to purchase Warner Brothers Discovery, Universal is still in the mix, allegedly. So maybe, who knows? If David Ellison buys Warner Brothers, James Gunn will be out. David Ellison's father, billionaire Larry Ellison, is close to Donald Trump. So Peacemaker getting a season 3 and Gunn lied about a family-friendly approach to DC. Told that basically nobody in the building knows his status except for Gunn himself, but his actions speak as to what might happen.
Yeah, and that's a red flag. Like if nobody knows what James Gunn is up to in terms of his plans for DC except for him, then that's not good. Because this is, even though he's in charge, like people need to know the plan. That way, like if things go wrong, someone can come in and continue off of that plan. So the fact that people don't know what's happening, that's not a good sign. That's not good.
So Gunn has said it himself, he's doing whatever he wants with DC, because with the sale, DCU will be dead. And yeah, Mike DeLuca will just take over, apparently. I mean, it's fascinating. It's a fascinating turn of events. Mental, but fascinating. Crazy, really, when you think about it. So I don't know what any of this is true. Who knows?
So Skydance wants to buy DC. We just don't know if it's like gonna be true, if it's gonna go through with the sale or not. Like I said, I would not mind if they got rid of James Gunn. I'm just gonna be completely honest because, like I said before, I don't think he's the perfect guy for the job to run DC. I really don't, and I know I'm not the only person who feels that way. I really do not want this to continue because I am just thinking about a James Gunn Batman, and even him himself say he doesn't want to make um, a fucking comedic Batman, and the fact that he even thought of that was just like no, it was just like no, like Batman is the most grounded and serious character of comic books. Batman is literally the flagship character of DC. Like, and for him to do that was just like, because I'm still upset about Ben Affleck's Batman, like in terms of them making him a killer. I'm still upset about that, but I feel like James Gunn's Batman would be way worse. As much as I did not like what they did to Ben Affleck's Batman, a James Gunn Batman would be 10 times worse. Like I know you think I'm speculating. I'm over exaggerating, but I feel like it will just be way worse in my opinion. But um, but I want to hear your opinion, how you guys feel about this. But honestly, I really wouldn't mind a reboot. I really do hope that the sale goes through. Actually, I do want to play that video. I saw a video from someone. She released it earlier. Because she brings up a lot of points that I had too. Where is she? I forgot her name. Um, I literally was just watching her a couple of minutes ago. She made a really good video. I'm gonna have to look at that. I'm gonna have to look for it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look for it. But yeah, so again, this dude's starting slate was just like it was just so dumb. I'm actually gonna play that again. I'm actually gonna play that again. I'm actually gonna play this video again so you guys can understand. So he announced this 2 years ago. So listen to this was the original plan that he had. This was the original plan for DC when James Gunn was running shit.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are
So one of the stupid things that James Gunn did when he came in is that he wanted to make everything interconnected, meaning that both the films, TV, and animation would be authorized by him in order to go through. And it's one of the main reasons why we don't really get that many animated DC movies anymore. Because for the past like 2 decades plus, DC has been killing it with with their animation. Their animated films are arguably one of the best films out there, man. Are one of the best animated films ever, man. And that's one thing Warner Brothers and DC always had over Disney and Marvel is their animation. Their animation, they killed it, man. They have killed it, man. And like the recent stuff, the Tomorrowverse, I personally didn't like the Tomorrowverse. I thought it was like a huge downgrade to what we had previously in terms of like the animation quality and the look. But yeah, DC has always killed it with animation, man. And his dumbass comes in and like just takes all that away.
consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love, that reset
Yeah.
the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So, Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This
So I didn't even know it was an 8 to 10 year plan. I probably just forgot. But I didn't even know that they were involved in gaming too. I didn't even know that.
first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now, this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos.
Nobody watched this shit. Like I'm not even trying to be like a hater. I'm just being really honest. Nobody watched this show. Nobody watched this. Like, how are you starting off DC and you're doing this? Nobody knows who these characters are. And these characters are not even that popular. These characters are not even that interesting. This is something you do when you already have like a successful universe and you're making money on your projects. Whereas, all right, let's do this now. Let's dive into like some weird characters, some obscure characters. That's when you do that. You don't start this off the bat.
Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller.
Like, again, like, what? Why? Like, I'm so serious. Why? Bro, like, look, I'm gonna say this again. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter. You need to start focusing on those characters first before you move on to all to these other characters. Even after those 7 characters, there's still other characters you got to focus on after that. But no, you want to do these characters, like characters that nobody acts for.
Played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal.
That's why. See, that's why he wants to do this, because he loves Peacemaker. Because Peacemaker is his fucking baby. That's why.
Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of the...
Oh, God. That already sounds like a dumb idea, because I don't know, if for those who watch Doom Patrol, that series itself is like, I'll leave that for like another day. I'll just leave it at that.
This world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is...
And the name, they changed the name, but the name was stupid. It was like Legacy. That means like he's dead, and that means like someone else is like taking it. Like the name itself was really stupid. I don't know why they call it Superman Legacy.
It's being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart.
See, this is technically not his idea, because this has been a thing that DC has been trying to do for a very, very long time. Like, I heard this was like announced like all the way back since like 2016. They've been trying to do like a Green Lantern Corps show. And I heard ever since HBO Max was a thing, like when it launched, they've been trying to get this show out there. So this is I don't think this is not his idea. Obviously, you need to have a Green Lantern in the DC universe. That's something that Zack Snyder did not have in his DC. I think the reason why they didn't have Green Lantern is because of the movie. Like the movie wasn't that good, so they didn't want to do him. From what I understand, um, I heard that was more so on the executive side of things of Warner Bros. But um, I I I don't know. Actually, I know they're still doing this. Because originally it was called the Green Lantern Show. Now they're just calling it Lanterns. I personally would just still call it the Green Lantern Show, unless they're trying to call it Lantern so they can focus on other Lantern Corps, maybe, like the Celestial Corps, the Red Lantern Corps, the Indigo Lanterns. I'm guessing that's why they're doing that. But um, and I think they picked out the actors too to play them. I'm not a fan of who they picked to play Hal Jordan because the guy's pretty old, so it kind of looks like that they're gonna kill off Hal Jordan and make John Stewart the main Green Lantern. I don't know why they keep doing that, but for what it looks like this is still gonna be happening though. Well, then again, I don't know if it's still even gonna be released, especially with the sale. So
And Hal Jordan, and we have a few other lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space.
and my problem with this too is like I know like people want to see them use their power rings and the powers like all the time. Like don't just save it till towards like the end of the series. Like nope, everyone's gonna be upset if they do that.
Cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine.
Of course, it's a fucking passion project. Like you literally, there's another example of obscure characters that nobody asked for and nobody wants. He actually introduced one of the characters in the Superman movie, the Engineer, because he thought that movie was going to be popular enough so that he can release this as a second movie. But because of the numbers of Superman, that's not happening. In fact, I don't even think this is going to be released anytime soon. Honestly, and again, this no bro, nobody knows who these people are. Nobody knows who these people are.
It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters we are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary.
So it's the boys. Well, those type of heroes, basically, from what it sounds like. Cause I'm not even familiar with these characters. Like when he announced this, I did not know who these characters are because I never even heard of them. I never even heard of these characters. So again, like I'm not a super diehard DC comic book fan. I do read the comics. I'm familiar with the characters, and I know my stuff, but I don't know these characters. And again, I just don't think it's a smart idea to do um, this as your second mainline movie. Like it's a dumb idea. And again, this is what I said before. He likes to take obscure characters and just put them into groups and stuff and do shit like this, like with Guardians of the Galaxy and with the Suicide Squad. Like he can't. It's like a curse. It's like an addiction he has. He can't escape it because he did it in the Superman movie with the Justice League gang. So, but yeah, the Superman numbers didn't work that good. So I don't even think this is not coming out anytime soon. So him introducing the engineer in that movie was kind of pointless.
Necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island.
So this I don't know about. I don't even think there's a slate for this. I guess they just threw the idea out there and they're still working on it. But um, and plus, we don't even know if Wonder Woman's gonna even be in this. From what I heard, from what I heard, there's a couple things I heard about this. One, it's gonna be a prequel, meaning that Wonder Woman's not gonna be a part of it. Meaning that, so from my understanding, I'm guessing this is gonna be like Queen Apalta and the Amazons fighting off. If I think what they're going to do, I think the entire season is going to be them like fighting off Ares and his army, and at the end of the series would be at the end of the series it would be Apollo making her daughter out of this, making Diana from the sand. From what I'm guessing, um, that's what I'm guessing that this series is going to do. I think that's what it's going to do. Because they said it's not going to feature Wonder Woman in it. So, and that's what it sounds like. There's a nice drawing, by the way. I like the stab on the neck right here. That's really nice. But we'll have to wait and see. Plus, I don't even think that we don't even know if this is still slated. We don't know when this is slated to release, anyways. Because it sounds like this is going to be a prequel of some sort, just like how the original Wonder Woman was. Like the original Wonder Woman was a prequel, so.
The inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne.
And this is the dumb idea. I'm gonna go on a rant on this. Like, he is making the same mistake that Zack Snyder did in terms of making Batman old. Like, I need you guys to understand, Damian is the fourth Robin. That means that Dick Grayson is a thing, Jason Todd is a thing, and Tim Drake's is a thing. So he's doing the same mistake of having a young Superman and an old Batman. Now, granted, I do like a universe with Batman being a thing before Superman, but not that like far off. Like I feel like if Superman starts out, I feel like Batman should be Batman for like, I'll say like the most I'll give it is like maybe 5 years. 5 years, because he's still young, still in his prime Batman. But that means Batman's been Batman for like 15 years. For like 10 to 15 years. I think because Dick Grayson's been with Batman for like how many years he's been with How many years? Like almost 10 years. So Batman's is pretty old. He's in like his late 40s, early 50s, similar to Ben Affleck's Batman. And that means you gotta explain to the audience that there's 3 Robins before this one. That means you gotta explain Dick Grayson, you gotta explain Jason Todd, and you gotta explain Tim Drake's. That's if they even do Tim Drake, because for some reason in media they always ignore Tim Drake's, even though he's arguably the smartest Robin out of all 4 of them. Like, I'm not saying don't do Damian. I'm not saying that. I'm saying lead up to Damian. I feel like fans would enjoy it better if they lead up to Damian. Which, I'm just gonna be honest, with the combination of streaming and how they're putting both comic book property onto films and on streaming shows, you have no excuse. You can introduce your Robin. You can do a TV show called let's say the dynamic duo of Batman and Robin. Like, it doesn't have to be the same Robin each season. Like season 1, you can do Dick Grayson's Robin. And then them having their follow up, Dick Grayson leaving. Season 2, you can do Jason Todd Robin. Season 3, you can do Tim Drake's Robin. And it's proven that fans are ready for a Batman live action series. Like, we've seen what they do if they can do Daredevil, they can do Batman. It's that simple. Like, Daredevil on Netflix was literally the closest thing we got to a live action Batman series. That was like the closest we got to a live action Batman. So, again, I just don't understand why they're starting off with Damian. It's not a smart move. It's really not smart. And plus, for what I confirm, he said this is going to be a Bat family movie. So that means you're going to have, And mind you, a lot of people do not know who these characters are. Like the only people know in Batman's family are Robin, Batgirl, and Nightwing. But a lot of like normie fans don't know that Robin, original Robin used to be turned into Nightwing. A lot of people don't know that. And a lot of people don't know that there's 4 Robins. A lot of people do not know that. If you ask people how many Robins are, the most will say is like maybe 2. They don't know there's 4. And not to mention Orphan Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown. Spoiler. So a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know who these people are, and you're trying to do a Bat Family movie as your first Batman movie in your universe. No build up, no lead up to these characters, and people are gonna say, "Oh, people know who these characters are." Like people do not know who these characters are. Granted, I'll give them like Nightwing. People do not know who Spoiler is. People do not know who Orphan is. Nobody knows who these characters are. That is a fact. Nobody knows who these characters are. So, again, this was a really dumb move right here.
This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little...
He is not his favorite Robin. That is not your favorite Robin. Stop lying to yourself. Like, stop lying. Please. Stop lying. Like, nobody even liked the New 52. That's literally where Damian was featured the most. That's where he was introduced. Nobody liked the New 52. I feel like he's going off of the animated movies. Because the DC animated movies, the last, the Internet Connected Universe they did, that was based off the New 52. That's probably what he's going off of. Don't get me wrong, the DC animated movies, they did a good job with making Damian popular. I feel like that's where Damian's popularity has rose. I feel like they did a good job handling the character. But don't lie and say that's your favorite Robin. I can tell this is lying off his teeth. At the end of the day, Dick Grayson, well, even though he's Nightwing now, Dick Grayson was the first Robin. The best Robin, arguably, it's either between Dick Grayson and Tim Drake's, between those two. But at the end of the day, starting off with Damian it's just not a good idea, man.
Assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU. Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of...
I forgot that he announced this shit. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Why are you doing characters like this? Like, bro, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you're focusing on you're focusing on non-core DC characters. I feel like the Booster Gold was only featured in one episode of Justice League Unlimited in terms of media, besides the comics. And he's from the future. That's another thing I don't like. Why are you focusing on these type of characters? Like, you need to start off with your core characters first before you focus on all of this.
Comics really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology.
Oh, yeah. See, he likes focus. Yeah, see, he likes focus on these type of obscure characters who don't who aren't the best at what they do. Like, he likes to focus on those type of characters.
To come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now,
I still stand by this. I don't think Supergirl needs her own movie. I'm just going to be completely honest. If you want to put Supergirl in a movie, just put her in a Superman movie. She doesn't need her entire own movie. I'm just being completely honest. She does not need her own. If you're gonna make this a movie, I feel like this is more so as like a HBO or HBO Max type of thing, or make like a TV series out of her. Even though they already did a TV series, which was fucking terrible. But She does not need her entire own movie. I'm just being completely honest.
Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents. Whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way. So she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about.
There's another thing, and this is what I'm talking about. Now, I like Swamp Thing. I think he's an interesting character, but to start off your DC slate, no. Honestly, if this was like John Constantine, then I would have been fine with that. But Swamp Thing though, like that makes no sense. And plus, he literally just had his own TV series. This is a very, very weird slate to start off with. This is a very weird slate. The only core characters that he announced were Superman and Batman. Everyone else are like B, C tier heroes. I mean, or characters. The Authority are like D, E tier, like, because again, nobody knows who these characters are.
Talk about a very dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right.
Yeah, Swamp Thing, yeah, this should have just been John Constantine. Because I feel like he kind of did this to introduce the like magical part of DC. This should have been either John Constantine or Dr. Fate. It should have been one of those two properties. I don't know why they're doing Swamp Thing. No, I'm just being completely honest. I feel like it's kind of a weird choice to pick, in my opinion. Because I feel like John Constantine and Dr. Fate are more notable than Swamp Thing. That's just my personal opinion. So, yeah. Kind of a strange choice right here.
Into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique.
And he's not doing that right now. Like, he's putting his input onto everything that they're working on. So, yeah, so that was the original slate. He announced for his DC Creature Commandos, which again, nobody watched this show. Nobody watched this shit. Then he did an Amanda Waller, which again, I don't know why you're making a series about Amanda Waller. I'm just being completely honest. Like, just do like one episode in like whatever other show you want to do. She does not need her whole entire series focus on her. I'm just being completely honest. You can literally do everything about Amanda Waller in a one episode show. That's it. And I feel like fans would be okay with that. Then you had what did you know? Oh yeah, then he did Superman. We already seen Superman. We already know what it was. So just looking at Superman, we can already see the tone and direction of what the DC Universe movies are heading. And obviously, it's just it's not it. I'm sorry, it's just not it for me. Then you got the Lantern Show, which, like I said again, this was something that was pitched a long time ago. I feel like he's just picking it up now and is trying to make it part of his DC universe. Because I feel like originally the original Lantern Show was supposed to be part of the Zack Snyder stuff, if I'm not mistaken. But it was still supposed to be like a TV series. But yeah, it looks like they're still doing this. About to wait and see how that turns out. Then the movie that literally nobody fucking asked for, The fucking Authority. Again, I don't know why the fuck I don't know why he's diving into characters that nobody asked for, that nobody wants to see. Like, again, you're trying to rebuild the brand of DC Comics. Why are you pushing out characters that, one, nobody gives a shit about, and two, when was the last time they even published a comic on The Authority? I actually got to search that up. When was the last time they did a comic on The Authority? Hold on. DC's The Authority, last publishing. So they were featured in a comic back in 2021, but they actually don't even have their own comic. They're just featured in other character comics, from what I've seen. I might have to look into more detail in that. But again, like I don't know, like nobody wants this. Nobody wants this shit, bro. Like people want to see the main core DC characters. Nobody wants to see this shit. And then he Paradise Lost, the Wonder Woman. I don't know if it's like a spin-off or if it's like a prequel. From what I understand, it's a prequel. They said it's gonna be like Game of Thrones, where all females. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I think they did a really good job with the Amazons in the the Snyder stuff with the first one doing the movie and the Snyder cut of Justice League. I think they did a really good job with the Amazons, Themyscira. Then he announced then this Batman. And look how far down he announced Batman too. Like bro, like you got one, two, three, four, five, six projects ahead of Batman. Six. And you know why? It's because they let Matt Reeves do his own Batman stuff. That's the problem. Like I said this time and time again. We already seen what a realistic, grounded Batman looks like. Christopher Nolan gave us that. That's why I was happy when they were back when they were doing the DC stuff with Zack Snyder. They originally wanted to get Christian Bale to come back as Batman. Christopher Nolan said no. He was working with them too. Christopher Nolan said no. He said his Batman's too grounded and realistic for this type of universe. I think we should get like a new Batman that would make sense for this universe. And I 100% agree. That's why I was happy like when they recasted their Batman. I was happy when they did that. So Ben Affleck, because he was supposed to direct his own Batman standalone film, I guess he stepped down because he was supposed to direct and he was going to star, which is really tough to do. So he stepped down as director and he got Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves comes in and he's like, "Oh, I don't want it to be connected to a connected universe. I want to do my own thing." And that right there, I would have said no. I would have been like, "All right, you're not working with us," because again, I mean, people like the Batman. I personally thought I gave it like like a 7.5, the highest, like an 8. I personally didn't really like it that much because um um who's playing Batman? Robert Pattinson was just Batman the entire film. He wasn't Bruce Wayne. Because Bruce Wayne and Batman, there's two different personas. And I feel like Christian Bale did a better job at that in terms of how Robert Pattinson did it. You can say the same thing with Ben Affleck too. So actually, Ben Affleck sometimes he did a good job. There was a couple of scenes where he did a good job playing a good Bruce Wayne. And plus Ben Affleck, he really looks like Bruce Wayne too. Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, they really look like their comic book counterparts, man. They really that casting, I won't lie, in terms of the look, it looked good. But again, having Matt Reeves do his own thing was just not a good idea. Especially when you're trying to rebuild DC, like you need Batman. Like stop doing all this standalone shit and like people. I need a connect. Like people want interconnected universe. That's what people want. That is the whole point on why you guys push for this because you want to compete with Marvel. You want to have the same thing Marvel is doing. So stop doing all this single shit. Like the Joker was fine, but the Joker should have been it. There should have never been a Joker 2. And I know DC regrets that because the Joker 2 was a flop. Like, I know they regret doing a second Joker movie. I know they regret it. But, yeah, the fact that Batman is the 6th project on here is fucking crazy. What was after Batman? Their Booster Gold TV series. Like, again, like nobody's asking for characters like this, man. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just some people asking for to do stuff like this. But again, like this is character is not a priority, especially if when you're trying to rebuild DC. I'm sorry, he is not a priority. This character is not a priority right now. Supergirl does not need her own movie. Just put her in a Superman movie. Put her like in a sequel movie. Do the Supergirl arc of her arriving on Earth and her adapting to Earth's ways. Just do an arc like that. She does not need her own movie. I'm just being completely honest. And then Swamp Thing. This should have been John Constantine or Doctor Fate. I like Swamp Thing, but too early to start off with him. Do John Constantine or Doctor Fate. I'll probably do like Doctor Fate. But yeah, but yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not going this way right now. So, but yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on this. Um, Before I move on to Marvel, I do want to look at Ghost of Yotei. I actually do want to look at that. Um, Nobody's talking about Ghost of Yotei. Nobody's talking about it. It is not being as talked about as Ghost of Tsushima was. I do want to take a look at the sales though. I heard the sales in Japan are pretty decent, but we can't really say the same for here domestically. So let's take a look at what's going on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so apparently Ghost of Yotei has finally had the Japan numbers released from Famitsu. And all week we've been talking about this and waiting for the Famitsu numbers to drop because in Japan, they actually do report sales. Now, keep in mind, they only report physical sales. And that's because, I just want to preface this video by saying, in Japan, for those of you that don't know, physical sales are king. I have people in my comments trying to cope unbelievably hard and say that's not true, but it is true. With the culture in Japan, physical sales are king by about a 70% ratio and 30% digital. Now, with all that being said, the reason why this is important is because we have been wondering, well, if this game truly is a massive success and it is totally not a flop compared to Tsushima, then clearly in Japan, where physical is king, there's going to be an equal amount of people who are going to want to buy this game physically, right? There's not going to be a massive drop off in Japan because in Japan, physical's king. So they're going to want to buy.
I said this before. I don't think Ghost of Yotei is going to match the same sales as Tsushima or even more than that. I don't even think it's going to reach 10 million units sold. That's just my personal opinion. Because Ghost of Tsushima sold over 13 million units, especially for a brand new IP on a low budget, which is really, really good. Ghost of Tsushima is arguably one of my top three most favorite games of all time. Like that game, just that opening scene on the beach, like the battle on the beach, fucking breathtaking, man. And the thing is, I just bought the game because I just wanted to buy it. Like I remember when I saw a teaser trailer for that game back in 2017. I was at GameStop during the height of COVID. I was at GameStop. I was just looking around. I didn't want to buy anything, and I saw the game. I was like, "Oh, it's out." I was like, "All right, let me buy this shit." I went home. That was when Warzone started to become a thing during COVID. So I was playing with some friends. It was late. It was like what 3 in the morning. I was about to go to sleep, and then I saw the case. It was still wrapped up. I didn't even open the game yet. I was like, "Fucking, let me just open the game, put it in." That scene on the beach, man, like I was, bro, like, and I was sleepy already, man. That shit just woke me up, bro. I told myself I was gonna play for like maybe a few minutes. I looked at the clock. It was like 6 a.m., bro. I played for like 3 hours. I went to sleep, woke up in the afternoon, played that shit again, bro. I played that game nonstop. I beat that game in like 3.5 days. And I 100%, I completed everything. I did all the side missions, all the quests, the shrines, the statues. I did all of that. That game was so fucking amazing, bro. I love that game, man. I fucking love that game. One of the best games I ever played. One of the best games out there, period. And when it was announced that they were gonna do a sequel to this game, I was all for it. I told myself, like, bro, I am so fucking ready for this game. And then, like, even with the reveal of the game, I wasn't too upset. The thing that got me upset was that they didn't want to continue with Jin's story, the original protagonist for the game. And I don't feel, and I'm not the only person who felt that way. A lot of people loved the character Jin from the first game. And the Japanese loved this game. The Japanese loved Ghost of Tsushima. I think it sold like over 200K in Japan. Like, they loved that game. Even the creators, like, I watched the behind the scenes and the interviews they had with the Japanese professors, like with the people who made the game. Like, bro, they loved working on that game. Like, they literally said it was like their love letters to Japan, that game. So this game, they changed the character. It's literally just like a fucking generic storyline. It's not even compelling like the first game. And on top of that, they wanted to make this game more like an anthology series, which is fucking stupid. I feel like they should have completed Jin's story before moving on to someone else. Like, they literally Sony, I think they even confirmed this, that Jin was supposed to be featured in 2 games. So you're supposed to have 2 games. So again, I just don't understand why they went in that direction for this game.
The game, right? Especially since Ghost of Tsushima was a brand new IP that nobody knew anything about, whereas Ghost of Yotei is a sequel to a beloved IP that had many years of a following behind it. So surely this must be a massive win for this franchise. Except, unfortunately,
and another thing that got me upset about Ghost of Tsushima is how they got treated during the Game Awards. Because the critics, I remember too, like, the critics they were glazing the shit out of The Last of Us Part 2. Even though that game was fucking terrible. Like, literally, my friend called me, literally got into like a 45-minute rant on the phone with me because he was just so upset at The Last of Us Part 2, like, yelling about, like, when they killed off Joel. Like, he was yelling, like, he was screeching at me too. And the thing is, I told him about the game, like, the week prior. Like, I told him about Ghost of Tsushima, saying, like, yo, I really like this game, I think you should get it. And he was telling me, like, I would get it, but I want to get The Last of Us Part 2, because this man, he loved the first game. Like, but The Last of Us, that first game, just like with Ghost of Tsushima, it was a cult classic. It's people consider it as one of the greatest games to ever come out. Like, it's a really great game and good story. A lot of people love that game. And what they did to The Last of Us Part 2 literally destroyed that franchise. And for some fucking reason, it still got Game of the Year over Ghost of Tsushima. And literally, you had these critics online bashing the people who worked on Ghost of Tsushima, because apparently Ghost of Tsushima was worked on white people and they found it problematic. Which, again, if you look at Ghost of Tsushima, this game was really, really faithful to Japanese traditions. Like, I didn't even know this game was made by white people until I saw the behind the scenes interviews. That is how you do proper research into a culture and make something based off of that. They did a fantastic job, those guys. They did a fantastic job. What they did compared to, like, what they did with Assassin's Creed Shadows, huge difference. Huge difference.
it's not. Even though the journalists are out here trying to say Ghost of Yotei follows in Tsushima's footsteps, dominating the Japanese charts on PS5. Right? They clearly are trying to make these headlines seem as if you should be very proud and happy about the way Ghost of Yotei is performing. And they'll try to cope and gaslight you and tell you, well, physical sales are down across the board, right? Everybody's losing on physical sales, but they're making it up in digital. There's about equal number of digital, if not more, when it comes to these games. But that's not how it works in Japan. But in any case, and if you keep in mind, that argument only works if you're trying to say that digital only existed with Yotei, right? Digital sales also existed with Ghost of Tsushima. Do we understand this?
Yeah, that's true. Digital sales existed with Tsushima also, so I don't know why they keep using that. I swear the cope is really real for this fan base.
So even though when Ghost of Tsushima came out, by the way, it came out during the coup, so it's very difficult to land physical copies, but that's neither here nor there. Ghost of Tsushima came out, there were still digital sales that you could have. So whatever the number is physically, if you want to use that argument, you could just use that argument with Tsushima too. And then you'll say, well, you know, it rose over the last couple of years. Yeah, that's fine. But when you add whatever percentage you want to add of digital sales on top of the physical sales in Japan, it's still a much bigger number than what Yotei's at. So in any case, now we are here, right? After all that context, we are here. These are the Famitsu numbers officially for the week of release with Yotei. And what do we have? Well, let's talk about it. On PS5, Ghost of Yotei in Japan sold 120,196. Now, they're telling you in the articles, they're saying,
I won't lie, that's not bad for Japanese number. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty decent. It's pretty decent sales. I won't lie.
that, oh, yeah, Ghost of Yotei is dominating all of these games. Ghost of Yotei is absolutely destroying all of these games. What, remasters? Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2? Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles? Oh, congratulations. Oh, it dominated Mario Kart. That's number 4 that released 4 months ago. Oh, wow. It dominated a game that released 4 months ago. That's fantastic. How do you feel about yourself? Oh, it dominated Digimon Story Time Stranger? I would hope so, considering Tsushima dominated Digimon games in the past. So what do we...
Oh, I think this is the anime. I think this anime just came out. I might have to watch that. I kind of want to watch that.
even comparing to? Do you guys understand what the lineup is with Yotei versus Tsushima when it came out? Let me remind you, if we check out Tsushima way back when, you would understand that Tsushima had to go up against the following games during its release. You guys ready for this? Check this out. This game had to go up against Death Stranding #1, a massive game in Japan. Massive, 185,000, right? Gran Turismo Sport, 139,000. Marvel Spider-Man, 132,520. And Days Gone, 114,319. Ghosts of Antifa barely passed what Days Gone did in Japan. It goes to show how much this franchise has fallen off in Japan. It is, in my opinion, that this game is getting felted by Japan, and they obviously don't want to admit this. They want to make it seem as if Ghost of Antifa is a massive success. It's a massive...
And it's like I said before, that they probably missed the main character from the previous game. That's probably what it was, bro. They missed Jin. Because Jin's story wasn't finished. It was not finished. Like, the next part of the story was going to be him... because he disgraced the samurai code, and more so as the shinobi code. So, he had to prepare. He had to be wary of the shogun and people coming after him, and on top of that, he had to be ready for the second Mongol invasion on the mainland. So, the story was not even over. The story, if anything, the story was just beginning at that point. It was literally just beginning. I feel like Ghost of Tsushima was literally like the origin, like the beginning of a franchise.
But the numbers don't lie. Ghost of Antifa sold 100,000 copies less than Ghost of Tsushima. Now, here's the thing. They're going to tell you, well, there's been a shift, right? The shift to digital gaming, why physical sales are declining. We all know that physical sales are on the decline for the majority of the world. That is not how it is in Japan. In Japan, it is going much slower than anywhere else in the world, especially in the US. You cannot compare the buying standards or the buying habits of people in the US compared to people in Japan.
Yeah,
in Japan,
true.
physical is still king. It doesn't matter. It is even more king if you're a Nintendo player, but it is king regardless. 70% on average physical sales versus 30% on digital sales. And also keep in mind, guys, when people say the shift to digital gaming, you guys, I don't know if people understand that when they count digital sales, that is highly, highly padded by the amount of DLC that is digital only. Because keep in mind, guys, you can't go out there and buy a DLC physically. That's almost non-existent. Right, you can't go out there and buy a DLC physically. So all DLC...
Yeah, most DLCs in game expansions you have to buy like through the game, or unless you buy like the Ultimate Edition of the game. But if you don't buy the Ultimate Edition, you have to like buy the DLC or the add-on. You have to buy it online, and it's digital.
is counted as digital sales, and that bolsters the digital sales number to make physical look like it's almost nothing, right? Now, that's not to say that digital sales is not obviously the king in somewhere like United States, but the truth is that this is different habits and is heavily padded numbers by certain things that are available digital only. Now, with all that being said, you have this article here that tries to cope for Ghost of Yotei. If you scroll down, you're going to see this that says, according to the latest Famitsu software charts, as reported by Gamatsu, the PS5 exclusive shot straight to the top, shifting 120,196 copies. As always, it should be pointed out that these Japanese charts only count physical sales. And so it is assumed, and again, keyword assumed, we all know what assumed means. It makes an ass out of you and me that you can at least double that figure when taking digital transactions into account. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. When you are talking about a video game in Japan, you are not going to double your digital sales. When it comes to a country that does not prominently buy digitally, not by a large amount, right? 70% buy physically, 30% buy digitally in Japan. You cannot.
Yeah, that is true, and that's why I like about Japan. They like to have physical media, especially when it comes to manga. That's why when like One Piece comes out, man, like bro, I'm telling you, man, One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, when those volumes come out, man, like I be looking at the charts, bro, they sell so fucking high, bro. Like it literally enters like 1.2 million in a matter of 3 days, man, for One Piece and JJK. That is fucking insane. That is insane, man. That is insane, man.
Then suddenly say, oh, 50, double the digital. That's not how this works, okay? If this was in the US, you might have a point. But when it comes to Japan, that is not the case at all. The reason why they're saying this is because they know, the journalists know, that this is a bad looking number, right? It's not a bad looking number because the game is going to flop, okay? The game is not a flop. We already knew the game wasn't going to be a flop. The budget's too low, and it's coming from a strong IP of Tsushima that is co-opting and turning into its own thing, right? So it wasn't going to flop. Anybody with a brain could have seen that from a mile away. However, there is something called degradation of franchise, which basically means that this particular game, sure, is not going to be a flop, but it is degrading the franchise. In comparison to the first game, the sales are down. There is no doubt about that. You can try to cope, you can try to seethe about it all you want, you can try to manipulate the numbers and make it seem better than it actually is, do whatever you want to do, but all across the board, in the UK and in Japan, but more so in Japan because that's where it actually counts for physical, these numbers are down by about 50% on average. So that means this franchise is down all across the board. And you could say, digital made it up, digital made it up. They still haven't said a single thing. Sucker Punch is quiet. Sony's quiet. PlayStation's quiet. Nobody has said a thing, okay? We are going to go on almost 2 weeks of this game being out, and nobody's going to say a thing. I would almost bet that we're going to go another 2 weeks without them saying a thing. And it's because they know that the numbers do not look as good as they were probably hoping for. They were hoping that people were going to buy this game no matter the drama. They were hoping that people were going to buy this game no matter the situation around Erika Ishii, whatever fucking excuse you want. But at the end of the day, man, the degradation of the franchise is slowly happening. If you want proof of what degradation of franchise looks like, I'm going to point to Dragon Age. Everybody knows Dragon Age was a super popular franchise. When it first came out, it started off as a little bit of a niche, and then slowly but surely started to gain a lot of fans, and then eventually the...
Man, Dragon Age is... BioWare is cooked. They are done, man. Like, they are done. That franchise is done.
Franchise blew up, and then by the time Inquisition came out, it was insane. It was like over 11 million copies, 12 million copies. After Inquisition, they released 2 massive flops. That has not happened. Sucker Punch does not have 2 other games that flopped in between the release of both Ghost games. It's only Ghost games. So Ghost of Antifa has the money to be subsidized from Tsushima.
But yeah, just wanted to show that. So in terms of the sales of Ghost of Tsushima, of Yotei, we still don't have like a positive, like a concrete number of the sales. I could show you this though. Let me show you something real quick. So Ghost of Tsushima budget. Let me show you the budget for this game. So Ghost of Tsushima cost around 60 million to make, and it sold over 13 million copies, and it made like a really good profit for Sony. And mind you, to compare it to a AAA game usually costs about 200 mil or more to develop. Yeah, so this game was a huge success for Sony. Let's look at Ghost of Sushi. Let's look at Ghost of Yotei. I believe Ghost of Yotei has a similar budget, so I don't think, in my opinion, I feel like it is gonna make its money back, but I just don't think it's gonna reach those type of sales compared to Tsushima. So yeah, around the same thing. Um, I don't think there's any sales right now. So it's saying 1.6 million sales sold to consumers its first week. Um, but again, like these are the same. It's going off like one source because PlayStation still hasn't released its the numbers yet. Yeah, nothing's yet. PlayStation hasn't released anything yet. Um, yeah. So right now is just speculation. Right now, this is not confirmed. Yeah, this is speculation right now. So it's not confirmed on the sales numbers for Yotei yet. Um, yeah, so like I said, we're gonna have to wait and see for the sales. We'll probably get like a sales number. I'll probably guess like maybe like at the end of the year for this game, but we'll have to wait and see. I do want to take a look at this really quick. I want to start doing this every stream. I want to take a look at some of the best selling manga of the week in Japan. Um, I was looking at it earlier, um, and it's pretty interesting right now. Um, Search bar. Take a look at this really quick. All right, so here, yeah. Always follow this guy right here. He always knows the sales and in Japan. So let's look at the top series for right now. So it looks like Chainsaw Man, the movie is out right now, so it's boosting up the series as a whole. So Chainsaw Man's in third spot right now in terms of the sales of the franchise as a whole, which is really good. Um, the Resident Arc film is going to be really good when it releases. I really highly recommend you guys to watch that when it comes out. Um, Looks like March comes on. I heard about this series. I never got into it, but I heard about this. Spy X Family. Spy X Family has always been top up there for a very long time. It's a very popular series. I'm not surprised to see it on this list. And then we got Dawn to Dawn. The Fragrant Flower Blooms Like Dignity. I actually started watching. It's actually not a bad series. It's really not bad. Sakamoto Days, One Punch Man. One season 3 of One Punch Man is out. I think it came out today, if I'm not mistaken. Season 3 of One Punch Man. Um, a lot of people, it's starting to get like mixed reviews from what I'm hearing because a lot of people don't like the. Like I said, um, ever since Madhouse left One Punch Man, it's not gonna be the same quality. I know a lot of people were hoping for Mappa to take over for season 3, but wasn't the case. Number 8 is Kagurabachi. This actually has an anime. They're currently in production right now. I don't think we got like an official announcement yet from Shueisha. My friend loves this series, man. He's addicted to this. I read like the first like volume of Kagurabachi. I didn't find it really interesting, me personally. Demon Slayer, number 9. Obviously, the movie is one of the main reasons why it's up there right now. Remember, that arc is going to be adapted to 3 movies. We just got the first movie. That's one of 3 movies. Remember that. And then Blue Box. I believe this had an anime that came out recently. But yeah, these are the top series. These are the top series of in terms of weekly sales in Japan. So let's take a look at the top 50 best-selling manga for the week of September 29th to October 5th. So this was last week, I believe. No, a couple of weeks ago. He didn't put in the newer week. So let's take a look. So wait, did I skip one? All right. So at number 50, we got Chainsaw Man Volume 5. Damn, the sales for Chainsaw Man is fucking crazy, man. Like, look at that. Look how many volumes this thing sold, man. 1.3 mil, man. This is fucking big. I believe this is before the Resi Arc film. Yeah, this is before the Resi Arc film, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, I'm looking on my bookshelf. What is the Resi Arc? All right, yeah. So this is before it. Cinderella Grey. I heard about this before. I never got into it. Firefly Wedding. Not really familiar with some of these series on here. Yeah, all right, Chainsaw Man. Yeah, so this is where the Razor Arc starts right here. No, I think it starts like a little bit at the end of volume 5. Another 1.3 mil. They sold 8,400 copies that week. Not bad. Looks like Chainsaw Man sold like between 7 to 9,000 copies this week. Fragrant Flower, that's volume 19. The anime has been doing pretty good for it. Chainsaw Man again, volume 21. This is part 2. Sold 9,800, close to 10K this week. 2.5 dimensional. This is kind of like Dress Up Darling. I heard of this. This is a new volume that released. Soul Leveling. 65,000 copies for volume 22. I think this is, I don't know if this is like the old, I don't know if this is the original one or the sequel series. This is probably I think this is the original one. Then you got Vinland Saga. Shout out to fucking Vinland Saga, man. I think this is the last volume. Is it the last volume? I think this is the last volume. So 10K this week. 55K total. Chainsaw Man Volume 22. 16K this week. 160,000 sold. Yeah, Chainsaw Man is doing good numbers, man. Kaiju number 8, volume 16. I think this is the last volume, if I'm not mistaken. 18K. Kaiju number 8 is pretty popular in Japan. I watched the anime. I thought the anime is okay. I'm not really the biggest fan. I really don't like the art design in terms of the characters. I really don't like how the characters look. I'm just being completely honest. I feel like they should have picked a different character designer for the anime series. The Elusive Samurai. I still need to finish this series. I think they announced a season 2 for this coming out soon. Call of the Night, Paradise Arc. Bro, that last season of Call of the Night was so fucking amazing, man. Holy shit. Oh, sorry. Oh, Justin, are you talking about Chainsaw Man? I'm sorry about that. I won't spoil anything. If you're talking about Chainsaw Man, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, that last season of Call of the Night, man, that shit was so fucking amazing. Arguably, like my favorite series for the summer season, man. That shit was so fucking good, man. I think this is the trying to think. I remember I was seeing a Twitter post about this. Because the manga for Call of the Night already ended. And I think the author did like a one shot after the series to promote the second season. I think that's what it is. Good numbers for it too. Let's see what else they got. What was that? That was number 1,013. So where's the top? All right, guys. So here's the top 10 selling manga for this week. So we got Boruto. Man, I can go on a full rant about Boruto, man. The point is, I'm not the biggest fan of Boruto. I think a lot of people that know me should know that about me. I'm not the biggest fan of Boruto. I heard the anime is coming back. Boruto and Black Clover are coming back. Studio Pierrot is just wrapping up Bleach right now. Once they're done with Bleach, then they can focus on those two series. I personally hope they go more so as a seasonal route. I just feel like a seasonal route is better. Um, Number 7, Sakamoto Days, Volume 24. That's a new release. Oh yeah, the Boruto Volume 6. This is a new release. This is the Boruto. This is the sequel to Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the Tupu Vortex. Sakamoto Days. This is the recent release, Volume 24. 44K sold. Blue Box number 6, 47K volume. So most of these are new releases. Dawn to Dawn, volume 21, 57K sold. One Punch Man. Why does it say new release? It says volume 2 but new release. Unless this is, I'm kind of confused by that. Why does it say new release? 63K. Kagurabachi volume 9, new release. Volume 9, because this one is higher than volume 9. And then Spy Family coming at number 1, volume 22 of Spy Family, 296K volume sold. So yeah, this is so obviously you guys can see that Japan, they love Spy Family, man. They're gonna adapt to Spy Family. I think right as of right now, their season 3 of Spy Family is out right now. You can go watch that if you want. I thought Spy Family is pretty good. I enjoyed it for what it is. But yeah, these are the top selling manga of the week. Because my Hero's not in here, but My Hero used to be in the top sold. Same thing with JJK. There's no One Piece in top 50 then, so there's there's not a volume out right now. So, another thing I want to talk about too, before we move on to the next thing, is fucking Frieren, man. Like, I am really upset about this, man. I wanted to talk about this really quick. I click on it. Frieren. I really wanted to talk about this, man. I'm really, really upset about this, man. So, obviously, season 2 of Frieren is coming in January. Can't wait for that. I fucking enjoyed the first season of Frieren. Thought that was a really good series. Still think it is. But I read a post the other day. I think it was yesterday. Apparently, Frieren is going on an hiatus. Let me just type that in. Yep. So it's confirmed. Yep. So Frieren will be going on an indefinite hiatus in consideration of the health of the author and the illustrator. So I really hope they get better. I really do, but I just don't want this to be like a really, really long hiatus, man. Because Frieren is really good. Frieren is really good, man. But I feel like this next season is going to be the last season for quite a while. So we're not going to get a season 3 for a very long time. I hope they have enough material to adapt this season. I really hope it's not a fucking 12-episode season. I hope it's like a 25 episode season, because they blessed us with that first season. That first season was like 28 episodes. So I really hope they don't do the same shit. I really hope they don't do the same shit with most of these anime series of splitting stuff into cores and turning the cores into seasons. I really hope they don't do that shit. So I really hope they come back soon. I really hope there's enough adapted for season 2. But the next thing I want to dive into is Marvel. Marvel is launching another TV series. Let's take a look at this.
Speaking of checking out, Drinker's got to go.
Yep. Good one. Yeah, sorry, man.
It's all good. I wanted to get you out before we get into the
black man and Drinker suddenly decides he's got to leave.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I'd love to say I was excited to watch the Wonder Man trailer, but
All right. Now that he's gone, fuck, finally.
Yeah, finally, that guy got out of here. All right, I'm super. I'm excited for this one. I've been looking forward to this one.
Let's go.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Do we want to preface this by saying this is an Avenger, and the casting? I have to say the resemblance is uncanny, absolutely uncanny from the character from the comic books. Spot on.
The entertainment world is stunned today when internationally celebrated.
Hold on.
Hold
on. So, damn, why can I get... All right. So, another character race swap in the comics. I just don't understand why Hollywood keeps doing this. I guarantee you if this was a notable black character and they did this, people would be outraged.
Character from the comic books. Spot on.
The entertainment world is stunned today when internationally celebrated and reclusive filmmaker Von Kovac sprung out of retirement to sign on for his first franchise film and remake of Wonder Man. Mr. Von Kovac, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I know your question is, why one more superhero film then? Everyone is
every time I see a Marvel project, I think that.
That is the average.
Wait, that was the start of the trailer? I thought they were doing like an interview with the director of the show. I didn't know that was the start of the trailer.
It's pretty meta, right there.
Already strangely meta. Like, is this a documentary of what they're making, or is this in the show?
Just watch it.
Yeah, let's watch it.
Okay.
I was shocked by it, just how weird the trailer is.
Yeah.
Man. Everyone is tired of superheroes. Why go see them in the cinema?
Hold on. So they actually have Wonder Man how he sort of looks in the comics, and now they're gonna.
Wait, yeah, I just noticed that they have him in terms of how he's supposed to look in the comics, but now, wait, hold on. Let me just play it and then I'll talk about it after. Let me just play it.
King just blackface the shit out of him.
That one's allowed.
Okay.
See them in the cinema. Wonder Man spoke to me on a deep level. There is an opportunity to shock audiences. Only to reimagine.
Very meta. They're going very meta. They
really are. It's got cash grab.
No. They're diving in.
I'm really confused on what is the angle here. I'm really confused.
To the race swaps. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. That is the most retarded way I've ever seen anyone drink coffee. Like their hands wrapped around like that.
You should come over to my house. I'll show you.
I can tell you. I can
tell you straight from the kettle hot. Yeah.
Just microwave some fucking tea. Jesus Christ.
Fuck you.
I've seen someone do that with a metal clip in the tea bag. Oh, well, that's not a good idea.
To reimagine the whole genre of storytelling.
Trevor.
Have you given any thought about casting?
Let's see it. Let's see if they lead into it. Let's go, Marvel. Let's have a little fun.
Could be a shit show.
It's gonna be like, we have the girls get things done, and then at the end, like, no, but really.
I'm confused because, for what I understand of who Wonder Man was, he was someone that got exposed by some purple radiation thing, and he gets powers, and his brother. He has a brother. His brother is a villain. The Grim Reaper. I think he works for Hydra, and he wants to. He hates Tony Stark because I think Tony Stark was trying to buy his company. But Tony Stark was trying to in truth, he was trying to save it. But he saw Tony Stark for how Tony Stark is. But at first he came off as a person out for revenge against Tony, but deep down he wanted to do the right thing. And I think it was his brother was trying to push him towards the villainous ways. So I'm really confused on what angle they're going for this, because this kind of makes no sense. I'm really confused on what angle they're going for.
Skills get things done. This is going to be like, no, we're doing a race swap, and at the end it's going to be, but we hired the right person for the job.
Yeah,
I
You're going to end up with
attack fans over race swaps.
That's what it feels
you're
like.
going to end up with She-Hulk, where it shows all the backlash. Oh, you can't do this. You're destroying.
Absolutely. Oh my god.
That's 100% what I feel like this is doing. This is meant to weaponize against the fans,
and they'll all be validated.
What a great move by Marvel at this time.
And it's a weird, and this is weird to introduce the character, because if you're going to introduce him, are they going to introduce his brother? Like, if they introduce his brother to this, it would make no sense, because Hydra's gone. Like, Hydra's dissolved in the MCU. Like, that's another missed opportunity right there. This is the same scenario with the whole Adam Warlock thing. It's the same thing. Like, missed opportunity.
Well timed move. And internally, they are very proud of this show. They are. They're like, this one's a banger.
They are.
This is a banger.
No, that's not a good sign.
No, it's not.
They were very proud of Agatha as well.
They were.
If they're so insecure about the criticisms that they restructure the entire storyline of a TV show, just
Of a character, of a Marvel character for it.
Because the more, the happier they are with something, the more they've attacked the fans, the funnier it gets. So, like, the more they keep doubling down on it, the more entertaining it all becomes.
It's incredible that we keep ending up in this place. They're at war with the people that they're supposed to be making entertainment for.
Because they hate them.
I know.
But like the questions I have after that trailer are like, is he even going to be a hero? Or is he going to be an actor playing a role? You know, is he going to get cast as Wonder Man, and is he going to be playing a role but not actually be a hero? Like,
yeah, that's why I'm kind of confused. Like, what is the angle of this? Like, where are they trying to go? And why the fuck was this shit not even canceled? Like, what? Like, I'm so confused. Like, what? In terms, especially with how it looks, like, what possessed them to greenlit something like this?
I have no fucking idea what to expect from this show.
The one guy's pretending because he's an actor, but this black guy, is actually going to have powers, and he's going to play it, and it's going to play into that, and he's going to be like, but I'm actually real and black. I am a hero.
So he's going to have powers, but fake that he's got powers as if he's acting them.
Yes,
when
he's
really
going to fake he's not got
powers,
but he's acting like he's got powers, but he's got powers.
And then he'll come out as a real superhero with real powers throughout the show.
There's been a few TV series which have done something that meta, like Supernatural and stuff, have gone into our world and done actors playing the supernatural actors in our world.
Yes.
So you can definitely do it.
And shit like that.
Yeah, they did like the Ghost Hunters and stuff.
Yeesh.
Yikes.
I remember when Supernatural did Scooby-Doo. I seen like a clip of that. They like animated them too and everything.
Disney has not changed. We called this ages ago. It's like, oh, we're going to try and step back from politics and focus on politics. No. You got the same people working in the company. Yeah, you wanted to tone down the gay coding in Inside Out 2 or whatever like that. But the people inside resisted that, didn't want it to happen, and they are still in the company, and that's what Disney's going to try.
But Shad, this time it's different.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just that. It's that you will never find someone in a company that when they're looking at what the problem is go, oh, it's me. Yes. I shouldn't be here.
Yes,
because
exactly.
they just lose all the money. So they will always come up with blame something else. And even with it's not social engineering entertainment, but social impact entertainment. All of that was, how can we still do everything we're doing, but put it on the back burner and give them a...
Yeah, so I'm really confused about the premise of this show. Like, I'm really confused on what the angle here is. Because it looks like they're turning this into, like, the show is going to be about, like, a TV show about an actor. And it's kind of weird. Because, again, like I said, Wonder Woman, from what I understand, is a guy, before he was a hero, he was exposed to some sort of radiation, gave him powers. His brother is the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper, he has a close relationship with Hydra. Despite what his brother's influence, he turns out to be a hero. So I'm kind of confused on where this show is going. This is another example of them just using the name and the characters but not following the story, which is something that Hollywood's been doing for the past couple of years. But I think I'll leave it at that. But I think I'm going to end the stream there. I didn't eat all day. I'm fucking hungry. It's kind of late to eat a meal. I think I might just have like some fruit or something. But I really appreciate you guys joining me, watching the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. Follow me on social media. Join me on Discord. The links are in the description. I'll probably do like a drawing stream tomorrow. Just do some drawing. And but yeah, I hope you guys have a great week ahead of you. This is the Wave Blur, and I'm signing out.